This video was compiled using information which was made public via news or government agencies and is intended to honor the lives of those who met an unimaginable fate and also bring awareness to the unjust behaviors in our communities. On July 3rd, 2013, around 5:30 p.m., Detective Donti Rosciti and Detective David Silva of Pawtucket Police Department responded to the Miriam Hospital in Providence, Rhode Island. Medical officials had reported the death of a 10-year-old girl. When the two major crime unit detectives arrived, the initial responding officer told them that Aleida DePina had entered the hospital with his daughter, Aleida DePina, who had no vital signs. Furthermore, DePina had told the officer that he had been at home alone with his daughter for the previous 24 hours. When the detectives viewed Aleida's body at the hospital prior to the cause of death being determined, they observed extensive bruising on many areas of her body, her legs, and her back, as well as burn marks and what he thought at the time were whip marks. After their initial discussion with DePina at the police station, the detective sought a warrant to search his home. This warrant would be later referred to as the first warrant. Law enforcement then mobilized to the residence at around 3:40 a.m. on July 4th, 2013, the day following the girl's death. The next day, an autopsy was conducted and detectives determined that they were looking for particular items or devices that would have been used to hit, strike, or whip the girl. Detective Silva would later testify that the medical examiner told him that Aleida's manner of death was homicide caused by blunt force trauma and that she had a perforation of her small intestine.
A vigil was held last night for the 10-year-old Pawtucket girl who died last week, allegedly at the hands of her own father.
Following the medical examinations and autopsy findings, including that she appeared to have been suffering from malnutrition, charges against her father, Aleida DePina, were upgraded from child abuse and cruelty to murder. A medical examiner told detectives that a heated, hard metal object may have been used to burn the girl, according to an affidavit. Detective Rosciti then obtained a second search warrant with probable cause for entry into the 48 Knoll Street home, and a second search of DePina's property ensued. During this search, a Samsung camera was seized from the dresser in Aleida's bedroom. This camera was then submitted as evidence and held at the Pawtucket Police Department. During that same second search, police also seized a round wood stick, a baseball bat, 4 belts, 2 hair clippers, an extension cord, 2 white cords, a jump rope, a bike chain, a nutcracker, a hammer, silver tongs, a black bucket, 2 green extension cords, a curtain rod, an HP laptop, and a report card, among other items. On October 25th, 2013, during an evidence viewing, it was determined that the police had never examined the contents of the aforementioned camera. Yet another search warrant was then sought to examine the contents of the camera, according to the detectives. This warrant was issued on October 28th, 2013. Sometime thereafter, the relevant contents of the camera were played for the 2 detectives and an assistant attorney general. A 4th warrant was later obtained authorizing the search of the contents of the aforementioned computer, which was also seized. The investigation revealed that Aleida was born in Cape Verde, where she spent 7 years with her mother. Just over 3 years prior to her death, she had gone to live with her father because the family felt she'd have a better future. On January 2nd, 2014, DePina was indicted by a grand jury on 1 count of murder for the July 3rd, 2013 death of 10-year-old Aleida DePina. On December 22nd, 2017, DePina's attorney moved to suppress all tangible evidence seized by the police, including the Samsung camera and its contents. They asserted that the evidence was obtained in violation of the Fourth Amendment of the United States Constitution. In turn, the trial justice issued a bench decision denying the motion to suppress. More pretrial motions were heard over 5 days in January of 2018, the majority of which consisted of motions to suppress.
So help you God?
I do.
Dr. Christina Stanley is the former Rhode Island chief medical examiner. She testified Tuesday about an autopsy she performed on Aleida DePina the day after she died in 2013. She said one of the longest external exams she's done out of thousands of autopsies.
A long time. I want to say 5 or 6 hours.
Stanley showed the jury a diagram, which we were not permitted to record, of the dozens of abrasions, bruises, and healing lacerations she found on Aleida's body.
According to media sources who were in court while the video evidence was shown to the jury, Aleida was in a squat position as the man yelled at her before putting tape over her eyes and whipping her. Her wailing cries could be heard. The beating was described as horrible. Detective Silva testified about videos shown to jurors which had been taken from the defendant's camera. Jorge was seen wrapping his right hand around her neck and asking the child if she wanted him to end her life. He repeatedly struck her in her face while her arm behind her back never moved.
I submit to you that George DePina is criminally responsible for the death of his daughter. It's just not the charge they want. It's not the charge of murder.
And I've been waiting 4.5 years. 4.5 years to talk to you. There is no doubt he killed his daughter. There is no doubt that he acted with malice, that hardness of the heart, that cruelty.
On April 6, 2018, a Rhode Island jury found Jorge DePina guilty of second-degree murder in the death of 2-year-old Aleida DePina. He was acquitted on the more serious charge of first-degree murder after the jury deliberated for 8 hours. Prosecutors had asked jurors to find him guilty of first-degree murder and were seeking a sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. The verdict indicated that the jury did not believe that his crime was premeditated. His sentencing was set for May 18th, and he faced between 10 years to life in prison. A little over 5 weeks later, John E. McDonnell, who defended DePina with Lauren Belcom, asked the court for leniency. Judge Nettie Vogel sentenced Jorge to life in prison, agreeing with the prosecution's request. The judge called him an evil sadist and self-involved excuse for a man. DePina, who did not take responsibility in his lengthy statement, cursed the Superior Court judge as deputy sheriffs led him from the courtroom. Despite haunting video footage depicting her painful final hours playing a critical part in her father's trial, on December 10, 2020, Angela M. Yingling, a lawyer for Jorge DePina, argued that his conviction should be overturned because Pawtucket's detectives' seizure of the camera that captured those images and videos was beyond the scope of a court-approved warrant. She said that Judge Vogel should not have admitted the camera and its videos at DePina's 2018 trial. Prosecutors reiterated that it was the medical examiner's findings that prompted Pawtucket detectives to return with a fresh warrant to DePina's home. Appeal documents noted that DePina filed his notice of appeal prior to the entry of the judgment of conviction and commitment in the case. The court elected to treat it as though it had been timely filed. Regarding the appeal, the court elected to uphold Jorge DePina's conviction. May the family and friends of Aleida DePina find solace in the happy memories, and may her soul rest in perpetual peace. Thank you.